The other element of this, and this is starting to really achieve a bit of traction now, is that we're starting to recognise that a very large number of people are actually dying as a result of what they eat. The modern diet is not healthy and it's not sustainable. The Lancet had a report in which they said 2 people out of 3 worldwide now die from a diet-related disease. I'm here to tell you that in Australia the number is actually 4 people out of every 5 die from a diet-related disease. They're not necessarily killed by their food directly, but food has an important role and influence on the cancers, the heart disease, the diabetes, the obesity, the strokes, all of those diseases, the lifestyle diseases as they're called, the non-infectious diseases. It's a driver of them. And it's because of the crap food that we're getting. We can go into this in question time if you want to understand a bit more about it, but my little factoid is that basically food is 6 times more deadly than tobacco, to Australians at least. And bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, food deaths are preventable deaths. This can be fixed. We can prevent this rate of disease and ill health and premature mortality in the community. The other thing I'd like to point out, and again this is an issue that seems to have escaped global attention, but there are clearances going on of farmers all over the world that are just as cruel, as heartless, as brutal as the clearances in the Highlands of Scotland in the 1850s, in the Irish potato famine, in the enclosures of the common lands in England, when farmers are just being chucked off their land in their millions. Okay? We've been through this process in Australia. When I started reporting agriculture, there were 19,000 dairy farmers in Australia. Today there's less than 3, and they're still leaving several a week. Okay, so we're throwing away the people who know how to look after the system that feeds us. Without a thought. They're being discarded by this enormous concentration of market power in the hands of 20 companies. 20 vast companies now dominate the world food supply. And they compete with one another by screwing the farmer and by screwing the landscape that produces the food. It's economics gone mad. I'm not critical of these companies. I understand why they are where they are. But the system is plundering the knowledge, the wisdom, the experience, and the landscapes of the world at the moment. We've got to change the economics, is my basic message, of food, or we are going to damage the world irretrievably. Okay, so we're now seeing, for example, in Africa, big companies moving in there. China, America, the Saudis, they're all in there buying up huge chunks of Africa. And I don't believe that that is to the benefit of the Africans. Okay, so what are we going to do about that? Now here's the bit about war. This is an interesting thing. If you look at where the wars were in the last 20, 30 years, really since the end of the Cold War, you will find that they are almost exclusively concentrated in the lands that are food, land and water insecure. Right? This is a British Ministry of Defence map with all the conflicts in it. Places that are short of food, land and water, people fight one another. Okay, they are something that ignites the natural competitiveness that we humans have within our societies and communities. Have a look at the amount of wars that have been in North America, in Australasia, in Northern Europe. Places that are food secure just don't have wars at anything like the same frequency, right? So food is a really reliable indicator of potential for conflict. It's also a really reliable way to damp down the animosities that lead to conflict. You take away the fear of the kids starving and you actually take a lot of the sting out of the debate. So this is some way, a way, food is about world peace. It's a way of engineering world peace, and I don't think it's been even tried properly yet. Okay, climate. The news is not good. 2 degrees is going to seriously bugger grain production worldwide. And if it goes to 4 degrees, you can pretty much forget about it. Paper I read today said in America, corn and soybean yields will decline by 63 to 82% under 4 degrees of global warming. Right? In India, 45% of the wheat crop will disappear. Okay, so even with adaptation, which may mitigate some of that, we're not going to be able to drive the system we've got fast enough to keep pace, let alone to double food production. So my point is that climate is actually going to erode all the gains that we're able to make through good science, through better farming techniques, and so on. It's, you know, it really is the you know, the giant issue. So, you know, that's at the back of all of this. Food is how the world is going to experience climate change. Okay, even people who think they're not going to be touched by it because they live in a big city and they're more or less insulated from these things, are going to find the price of food in the shops goes through the roof. So again, this is probably the single strongest argument for decarbonising the world economy, because it's going to damage food irreparably.